I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Dotun Olowoporoku. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I'm doing well. It's a great morning here. It's about to rain, but it's a beautiful morning.
Wow. Well, please do tell us what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Bristol, southwest of England,
Oh,
a beautiful city, not too far from London.
oh, wonderful. Well, Dotun, please do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us meeting.
I guess it's the podcast that I host, Building the Future, which chronicles African growth story by having conversations with entrepreneurs, innovators, and thought leaders in Africa. So I guess that might be it, or the fact that I'm a bit active on LinkedIn, or that Angel, you're just a very good networker and you reach out to a lot of people. And so, and you do reach out to me from my obscure place.
I think you hit the three. So you're probably the insightful guy, aren't you? Because you hit the three on the head, right? So,
right, that's great.
It's all of those. Who did you learn this skill from? And let's do that. Let's talk about the insightfulness of who Dotun is and what you're doing via the podcast, please.
Okay. I'm not sure about insightfulness, but I've always loved. I grew up in a church, so I became a Christian when I was quite young, and I've always been a leader while in a Christian circle, whilst I was in the secondary school or in the university, I was a leader. So I've always loved listening to people, advising, and just being able to hear what people are saying beyond what they're saying, so and be able to give them the right answer. So that trust of leadership has been given to me whilst I was quite young, and so every time I'm having a conversation with people, I want to be able to explain what they're talking about and give a very good answer to that. So I think that's what led me to this podcast. I love conversation. I love a good debate. But more than that, I want to bring out the right nugget from every conversation, what people are saying, the wisdom that is coming out of them, even though they don't know that they're speaking the wisdom. I want to bring it out and tease it out to more people. So a lot of time when I'm having conversation, it's almost like I am speaking to people with audience listening to it, even though it can be just the two of us. So, and I think podcasts just give me that kind of avenue to have that kind of conversation with people where a lot of other people can be the audience.
Yeah. Did you say that you don't know about the insightfulness part? It seems as though you've done it again, right? Where oh, that is intriguing. So, all right, being that person who is in leadership, there are the challenges that occur. You're the person who is always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. Why will you continue to repeat this skill? The skill of being an insightful leader.
Why would I continue to repeat the skills or do it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's part of me, it's hardwired into my DNA. But more than that, I feel that we live in a world where everybody just want to talk. I mean, you see the social media, everybody really just want to be speaking rather than listening to other people. And most people assume that they are the wisest guys or they're the smartest guys in the room. So they just want to have their own voice heard rather than listen. So I feel that I have the responsibility to listen to other people and bring out what they're saying and be able to debate well with them in a way that we communicate their thoughts and their and what they're actually what they want to contribute to the world. So I will continue to do that as long as I meet interesting people, even people that don't think that they're interesting. I really want to continue to do that, to just bring out their voice and tease out some of the things that they're saying beyond what they're actually saying, how they're saying it.
Yeah, I love it. So we definitely share one of the same, and I've learned from doing these podcasts, the way you say the next word I'm about to say indicates how much there is, right? So passion. It's really communicating other people's passion.
Yes.
We definitely share that. Let's direct people to where what's the best place to find you, Dotun, please, and your podcast, Building the Future.
The podcast is on our platform, thestarta.com. So thestarta.com. It's majorly there, but however, you can get it on iTunes, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud as well. So the podcast is basically me having conversation with interesting people in Africa that I believe are shaping the way Africa is growing in the future. So people can listen to the podcast there. And at the moment, I'm interviewing lots of tech entrepreneur because I'm a tech entrepreneur and investor. So that's my consistency. But it's going to go beyond that. I'm going to go to talk to artists, thought leaders, politicians, sport people who are shaping the African growth story as we see it today.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dotun, please do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Interesting. So my life I've had lots of disruption in the last 3 years. I can't actually remember now what I've done consistently. I know that I've been working consistently for the last 3 years. I know that because I've changed a lot. My work has changed significantly. I used to be an entrepreneur. I'm still an entrepreneur, but I used to run a startup in the UK. I became a VC, and now I'm leading Starta, and I'm now I'm now a podcast host. So I can't. But maybe apart from reading consistently and maybe, or going to church consistently. But apart from that, a lot of my daily routine has changed significantly in the last 3 years.
Tell me about church. Tell me how that makes you feel going to church consistently, please.
So church is an integral part of my life. I'm a Christian not because it's a religion, it's a way of life for me. So I worship God in my own home, but I do worship with other believers. So having been in the room with other believers to express my faith and have that community and also contribute to our wider communities is a very intricate part of my life, and it's part of the expression of my faith. So that is something I do not out of duty, but it's something I do out of my way of life.
What would you suggest that someone that is listening who may be an entrepreneur, the busy entrepreneur, or even the busybody, right? The day job worker, the 9-to-5 worker, do what you've done, where you've spliced life, if you would, into the spiritual just as much as the physical?
So a lot of times when people meet me for the first time, it doesn't come out straight that I'm a church person. But when you start talking to me, you realize I have a spiritual part of my life, the way I view things. So I would say that entrepreneurs, be true to yourself first. But I don't see the difference between my spirituality and my everyday life, because I do what I do as an entrepreneur as a way of expressing myself in terms of helping. My contribution in entrepreneurship, I could make money elsewhere if it's about making money. But my contribution to entrepreneurship, especially in Africa, is an expression of me saying, this is who I am and this is what I want to contribute to the society. And this is how I want to help other people, which is creating businesses and helping entrepreneurs to build businesses. So as an entrepreneur, even if you don't believe in God, right? If you see fundamentally what you're doing as a mission, then there is a spiritual aspect of that. But if you're a Christian, I would say that as an entrepreneur, don't refuse to see the dichotomy between your spiritual life and your entrepreneurship life. You are a disciple of Jesus, whether you are in the workplace or in the church. Your church, your workplace, your business is also a ministry where you can help other people.
Amazing audience, we are live with Dotun. Please do check out Dotun. I love his last name, right? So I'm going to go at it again. So it's Dotun Olowoporoku.
Yes.
Olowoporoku. There we go.
That's awesome. You got the African in you.
I do. So do check that out. Well, Dotun, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Dotun, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory would be with my mom leaving me to go to work, and she was dropping me off at the nursery, and maybe I was crying, and that would be one of the earliest one. So probably not a good one, but it was just shows the affinity and the bond between me and my mom for a long time, that she's just one of the solid figure in my life for a long time. She's no longer with us, but that memory of me, first thing I remember was her going to work, and I just wanted to follow her to work. That was one of my earliest.
Wow. How old do you think you were?
Maybe if I want to reverse engineer that now, maybe less than 2 or just 1 or something like that, because that date looks like I think I was maybe 2 or less than 2.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it explains the bond between me and my mom, basically. So I'm the last of all our children, and I was the only one living with them then, because my other siblings are no longer at home. So I think that memory is stuck with me for a long time, because that was, I think, the earliest. But that's not the most interesting one. The most interesting was maybe Christmas time, that maybe they bought Christmas tree. But so that was very, very interesting. But the most memorable one, again, if I want to go, is when I got lost and my mom was hysterical. So I followed somebody on a car trip without informing her. I think I would be at about 4 or 5. And for me, I was just enjoying that. But when I was coming back with this person, I saw the whole community gathered, and my mom was in the middle. She was hysterical, and I can see her crying. And then they saw me, and they started shouting at this guy that took me out without permission. And so again, all this memory was around my mom. So that's the key thing about my childhood. Everything revolves around my mom a lot when I was growing up.
Amazing. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yeah.
I love the fact that in or being an entrepreneur, there are certain emotional aspects that go with it that a lot of people do not communicate most times. And that is the emotion of having to be by yourself. As much as it's possible to have accountability groups, mastermind groups, having your family around, an entrepreneur lives and exists by himself at certain points of time. And the fact that your mother saw it fit that you were able, I mean, I'm guessing the situation was one where she did it because she had to, but understanding that you were able to be alone, be on your own, is intriguing. Now that you are an entrepreneur and you are on your own, and now you're helping other people seek confidence and knowledge in being on their own, and that, my friend, is fascinating.
It's amazing that you're able to infer that, actually, because that's really insightful. Again, going back to your insightfulness, because I think growing up from maybe my teens, when I was maybe 10 to 14 or even 10 to 18, I spent a lot of my time alone. So I grew up without a TV. So we didn't have TV in our house for a long time. So I grew up with radio. I listened to a lot of radio. But then even when I had the option of going out to play with friends, so I do play out with friends, but then I spent a lot of my time just indoor, listening to radio or writing into my own diary. So I used to keep a log of that, and I was writing my things, and I read. But I spent a lot of my teenage years just on my own, reflecting about life or writing or just listening to radio instead of going out to play. So that is quite interesting.
It is. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
My favorite song would be Magic Fashak, Send Down the Rain. Magic Fashak is a reggae musician from Nigeria, and that song is quite great. It was very popular when I was growing up. I was trying to think about my childhood song will be that, Send Down the Rain.
Yeah, it's intriguing. So, I mean, even in entrepreneurship, right, there are times when the cry is, please send the rain, right?
That's true.
All right, well, Dotun, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Dotun, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet. In my organization, I'm training quite a number of people, but no particular person.
Okay. Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have a child.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Probably.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8 hours a day.
Dotun, after 1001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement, your mission. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, something that represents Dotun, what would you say that is?
It will be people, passion, purpose, and profit.
Love it. Dotun, my friend, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I'll say to your audience, please keep listening to Angel. He's an amazing guy. What he's doing is great. And I think together we can make a difference, and you can make a difference in whatever you're doing as well.
Love it. Dotun Olowoporoku. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.